What's up YouTube, jDantastic here, and today I want to be talking a little bit about Dragon Ball FighterZ. Surprise, surprise, everyone's talking about Dragon Ball FighterZ right now. It's been the hit of E3 so far, in my opinion, just because that's the game that I am really looking forward to. It's looking really good. It's looking really clean. I know there's some of you out there that are still not feeling it. That's fine, whatever, you know, you do you. Go play Xenoverse, go play BT3, or, you know, Raging Blast, whatever gets your jollies off, and the rest of us will have fun playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. So what I wanted to talk about today is a little bit of roster speculation. So what you can see on your screen right now is the character select screen, at least what we've seen of the character select screen so far, which does have 6 confirmed characters in the game. And you can see that there is not that much space left on the screen. If you kind of imagine it in your head, there is enough room on the screen from somewhere most likely between 20 to 24 characters-ish in that area. So that is a fairly small list. Now, maybe this screen will rotate around on the edges a little bit and there will be a few characters off to the side that you can't necessarily see on this screen. That is a possibility, but that's not really the point of this video. The point of this video is talking about what a smaller roster could look like, knowing that this is the character select screen, especially that it's a little bit smaller. It's vastly smaller than Xenoverse 2, for example, but even so, it's a little bit smaller than some of the other fighting games that have come out as of recent. However, again, just to restate, I am not that worried about a smaller roster. I'm actually kind of excited about a smaller roster. Just number one, because this game is going to be a little bit more technical, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be a legitimate fighter, and so picking up each character and learning them is going to take a longer amount of time. It's not going to be like getting down the basics of Xenoverse and then being okay with every single character. You're most likely going to have to learn combo strings, different movesets, different ways that characters interact when you have them on your team. There's just going to be a whole lot of other stuff that you're going to need to learn, and so if the roster was very large, it would make that kind of difficult. Now, I know that that's going to mean that some of you are going to be missing out on your favorite characters to play as. We're not going to get every single character that we hope would be in the game. I mean, and then, again, this is all speculation. Maybe they're going to drop 100 characters, but I really highly doubt that. I am fairly certain that it's going to be like 30 characters tops. Like, that's probably the ceiling of what that character list is going to look like. And so in my head, what I was trying to do was come up with a list of characters that I feel like would represent the series very well, and, you know, characters that have been around for a long time. And I found it very difficult trying to keep it limited to characters that were sort of detriment to the storyline that we know from Dragon Ball Z so far, and a little bit into Super. Super is obviously still going on, so there are still characters being introduced that we haven't even seen yet. They've just been kind of mentioned in passing, or you know, teased in the intro a little bit. So I just wanted to kind of get some thoughts out there and go through this, and then get some feedback from you guys as well. I want to know your thoughts on what you think the roster would look like, who you think is going to absolutely 100% without a doubt be there, and then also some characters that you would be okay with leaving out. Drop some comments down below. Let's have some discussions. I've been trying to ramp up the discussions in the comments a little bit lately, pinning some more comments and things like that. So I want to know your thoughts. Who do you think is for sure going to be in the game, and who could you do without? You know, if there's some characters that you're like, man, I could do without those characters, it's not that big of a deal. So, just kind of the list that I have right now. Now obviously we see 6 characters on this screen right here. I mean, it's confirmed we have Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Frieza, Cell, and Buu. Now, that also raises some other questions. Does the fact that we have Team Gohan here mean that we're not going to get adult Gohan? Does that mean we're not going to get future Gohan? Does that mean we're not going to get Great Saiyaman? In my opinion, most likely. I mean, maybe we'll get adult Gohan. It's really tough to say, especially because it looks like when you're playing as Goku, you're playing as Super Saiyan Goku, and it doesn't even look like he has a transformation, at least with this character, except he goes Super Saiyan 3 when he's pulling off his ultimate. So we don't really know how I mean, like I said, there's probably not going to be a lot of variations. It's only going to be like different palettes that you can choose color-wise for these characters. And so if it is another character, it's going to take up a completely different slot, with exception to the ones that do have transformations, like Frieza when he does go into his golden form. So, I mean, if there's going to be any other Gohans, I feel like they'll have adult Gohan. I wouldn't foresee Great Saiyaman making the cut. I wouldn't foresee future Gohan making the cut. And again, this is just my opinion, my speculation. So let me get back to my list a little bit. Oh, and the other question that this raises is that we kind of see 3 heroes and 3 villains in this screenshot, and it's interesting because we have Fat Boo in the villainous, you know, kind of area here, and that raises some other questions. Does Fat Boo count as a villain in this game, or is Kid Boo also in this game, and then that's another slot that's going to be taken up by, you know, another character? Questions like that. So those are the things that we're gonna have to wait until we get some more decent info on. But again, back to this list. So, and again, I'm not like starting a feud or an argument or saying that this is finalized or anything like that. So if you want other characters other than what I talk about right now, that's totally cool. I want to hear about that. This is just what I came up with. So these are the characters. Again, we had those 6 that we're looking at the screen right now, and then I just tried to go through my head and pick some characters that have been there from the start and they influence the story in some sort of major way. And so I have Krillin, Piccolo, Yamcha, and Tien. Now, Yamcha and Tien, I went back and forth on them even a little bit as well, because kind of since the beginning of Z, they don't necessarily play that strong of a role in the fighting itself. Tien is making a little bit of a comeback nowadays, but there for a while, you know, it was just kind of what I mean. They were there. They, like, don't get me wrong, they were in the series, but they were much less in the spotlight than they were at the start of Z. So Tien and Yamcha have kind of a tentative question mark. I'm fairly certain that they'll be in the game, just because I mean they are icons of the series. And then again, some of these are a little hopeful. Beerus, you know, like I said, with the fact that we have Golden Frieza is, you know, helpful in this insight that hopefully we'll have a few more super characters as well. So that's why I got Beerus on this list. Trunks, and that would be future Trunks. I did not include Kid Trunks or Goten on this list. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the game, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they're not in the game, if that makes sense. So future Trunks, of course, Androids 17 and 18 would make the list. Now, both of these, again, even have a tentative question mark. Nappa and Raditz. Now, I feel like Raditz could fairly well make the roster, as it was really the first villain we see in Z, and he kind of swayed the storyline in a certain way. Now, Nappa, you know, I could go either way on Nappa. He wasn't necessarily the villain in the Saiyan arc. It was, you know, more so focused on Vegeta, but Nappa was there, and he did play a pretty big role. So again, wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the game, wouldn't be surprised if he is in the game. So could go either way on that one. A few more hopefuls here now. Getting a little bit more into Super, we have Hits, Kyabe, Zamasu, and Goku Black. Now, the reason that my hopes are kind of high for those, at least for Hit and Kyabe, you know, they played fairly large roles in this series so far. Well, Super at least. So that, you know, that obviously requires that this game does, you know, include some elements of Super. And then Zamasu and Goku Black obviously had their own arc effectively, and so that's why I kind of hope that they will make the cut. At least I hope they make the cut. I really enjoy those characters. And then this little small list off to the side is more of the like really questionable characters. Like, are these characters going to be in it? It really could go either way. Broly, I mean, obviously the Broly fandom is insane. It would be weird to have a Dragon Ball game without Broly in it, honestly. So, you know, but at the same time, is he really... He probably will be. I don't know. I'm going to say he probably will be, but as part of like the main group to make the cut, I don't know, man. I don't know. Broly fans, take it easy. I mean, don't go too crazy on me. Kale and Caulifla obviously would be phenomenal. We're starting to get more airtime from them in Super. Questionables are Gogeta and Vegito. I wouldn't be terribly surprised if we didn't see those two fusion characters in this game. If we do get either one of them, I would probably bet on it being Vegito over Gogeta. That's just kind of my own hunch. I don't really have a lot to back that up. I just feel like if there is any fusion, it would probably be Vegito, and then maybe Gotenks. Maybe Gotenks. So maybe we won't have Kid Trunks and Kid Goten, but maybe we'll get Gotenks and maybe Vegito, and those will be the two fusion characters. And then, of course, Janemba. I put Janemba on the tentative list just because Janemba is also, you know, fairly iconic. He's been in a lot of the games. I don't think he's been in all the games. He's been in a lot of the games. And then, of course, there are some other characters that we haven't really gotten to see yet, like Jiren and Toppo. and a few other super characters that are, you know, questionable at best, whether or not they're going to make this roster. Again, the game is really far up. It's not coming out until early 2018, so we got months to go. We do have a demo coming up, but I would be shocked if the demo has more than the 6 characters that we've already seen right now. But it was difficult to do that. If you sit down and really try to make a short list of the characters that you think should be in this game, if you have to limit it to, you know, for example, 24 characters, who are those 24 characters that you're going to put in this game, you know, not counting variations? If it's 2 different characters, it's 2 different characters. For example, Super Saiyan Goku that we see on the screen right now, and then if we're lucky enough to get Super Saiyan Blue Goku, that could very well be a different slot that takes up a character. So, you know, it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough. But we'll see. We'll see. That was kind of my tentative list that we have going on again. And like I said, there's a bunch of one, you know, that gets left off. Like there's GT characters like you know, Baby, obviously, that everyone is so in love with, and Shinron, and the entire Ginyu Force. Because I was thinking in my head, I was like, will Ginyu be in there? I mean, he really could be, but then if you have Ginyu, wouldn't it be weird if you didn't have the rest of the Ginyu Force? And then that's 5 whole slots you got to take up. And then you think, well, then do we have to put Zarbon in there, and do we have to put Dodoria in there, and does Nail have to be a part of the game? And the list can really just keep going and going and going and going and going. And it's really, I found it to be fairly difficult to narrow it down to a cast of, well, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, so 28 characters, and a lot of those were tentative, was my list. And again, if I left off, you know, some of your favorite characters, whatever, this isn't like a shot or saying that those characters shouldn't be in the game, or I'll be upset if those characters are in the game. I was just trying to take a stab at, like, if I really sat down and put my head to the grindstone and I had to come up with a shorter list, a very short list of characters that we would see in the game. This is just kind of what I was toying with. But there we go. So that's, I want to know your thoughts. You know, who do you absolutely need to be in the game for, you know, for you to be really, really hyped up about it? And what are some characters that you're like, man, you know, I don't really care. You know, if they don't put Tien in the game, I'm not going to be so sad about it. You know, if they don't put Janemba in the game, then you know, who cares? Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. I want to know your thoughts on that. So again, take a look at the roster screen here. It does look like it's going to be a fairly smaller screen, unless this does rotate to the left or right a little bit. We're going to be fairly limited as far as the characters goes, boys. I think that's a good thing in the sense of a fighting game such as this is what it's setting out to be. So hopefully a lot of you guys are on board with that as well. If you have any questions, comments, anything else that you want to drop it down below, and I will get to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you had a good time, make sure you hit that like button. If it's your first time stopping by, make sure you're subscribed. There's going to be a ton more Dragon Ball FighterZ content on this channel, and I appreciate you stopping by. I'll talk to you all in the next video. Later.